Hello and welcome to another video where we are going to be playing Cities Skylines on the channel today. Today is the first time I'm recording my playing live. In the last couple of episodes I chose to do time lapses, so I think we're going to do a much smaller build this episode. And I've got something quite specific in mind for what I want to build. The idea today is to create a pedestrian riverside development. So we are going to be building in this area between where this highway road, this collector road is going to come down, and the river. So that's this kind of rectangle we're looking to fill in. And there's a few different things I want to include. I definitely want to use mainly pedestrian streets, and having a park along the waterfront will probably continue the quay that we've been building down along here. We're also currently going through periodic death waves, so I am going to include a health hub in today's video as well, with some elder care and some childcare to try and even out how quickly our Sims are being born and dying. We're going to be using a lot of mid-rise, wall-to-wall residential buildings to try and increase our population a bit. And I'd also like to include an organic market using the items from the organic and local produce specialization. So that's enough talking, let's get stuck into the building. So the first thing I want to take a look at is the road network that we're going to have running through this area. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this dirt road, which is our current exit from our highway interchange, build out our collector, and probably build a few roundabouts as ways to get into this area. Taking a look at our topography, we've also got a bit of flattening out to do, and I do find that is the best place to start. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten out this whole area. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We're on kind of high ground here compared to the next area over there, so I am wondering if we could do something fun with this highway, like make it raised or sunken, and it will also improve the connectivity between the area on this side of the collector to the area on this side of the collector. So why don't I have a little go and see if I can create a sunken highway. Let's make sure it's extended all the way out to the end of our map over here. There we go, I think that's pretty much looking how I wanted it to look. I'll have a little go at drawing a road over it and see if that works. Nope, it doesn't. That might be because it has to just be one step up, but it looks like that does work. So let's go ahead and try and build our connections into this pedestrian area. So we've got a little roundabout going on here. Let's see if we can make our exits from this road onto that roundabout. There we go, we can hide up the rest of these bits with a bit of landscaping, but I think I'm happy with this entrance into our new area for now. The next job is going to be to go ahead and build our quay out along here so that we can get the boundary of it right. So it looks like these keys really don't meet in a nice way, so I'm going to need to do something about that. So I think the answer in this area is just going to be to use the same key that we had been using, and I think we'll use these nice historic ones in a different area. There we go, and we'll let the water settle in, but I think that's looking pretty good for now. So the next job I want to do is I want to figure out the road layout that's going to run through this area. It's probably going to be quite gridded, although I do want to keep it a little bit more interesting than just a straightforward grid. So let's see if we can figure out something that's a bit fun. I'm also going to paint this out as a pedestrian area so we can start unlocking the items that we need to use to create it. Looks like I need to go ahead and place down the service point in order to unlock the pedestrian road, so I'm just going to put that here for now, although I will move it in a moment. Okay, so we've got kind of 4 key areas here that we can be building out. I do want to start with the health hub, which I think I want to run right along the riverfront here, because I think those assets would sit very well against the water. There we go, so we've got the elder care and also child health centre placed down just there. And I would like to place in some paths around these buildings as well. Looks like I've made that one just a little too far over this way. So I'll need to just scoot it over 1 square. There we go. I think those buildings sit pretty nicely in there. We will have a go at detailing them up before we end the episode, but for now I want to try and get the rest of the area mapped out a bit. And as well as a pedestrian area, I'm also going to need to paint down a district over this area as well. And I might need to feed a little temporary power line to these service points as well, just to keep them running smoothly. That is obviously a very ugly power line, and we will delete it as soon as we're able to. And I think somewhere along this main road, perhaps on this side, is where I would like our market to be. So I'm going to go ahead and make a smaller district or actually I might just apply organic and local produce to this whole district. And I also want to apply wall-to-wall residential to this district as well. And then we can have a go at zoning in some low-density commercial and see if we can control it to get some of our more market-looking buildings. So it's these kind of buildings with the gravelly paving that underneath them that we want to be saving. So I'm going to need to get rid of most of these others that have spawned in. We do not need these parking spots in our pedestrian area. So this last little building's taking a little while to come in, so I may as well go ahead and add in a few trees. Oh, and as I speak, it looks like we may have just got one that is going to be appropriate. Yes, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted this market down to the shorefront to look like, so very happy with how that is turning out. And I might add in a little park asset down here. I think the park cafe fits in really well there, just next to the market. We've got a couple of different ones just over here, but I'm pretty happy with how they fit into the general market vibe, to be honest, these shipping containers and this little sort of pop-up cafe or something, so happy with that. Now, I wonder what kind of trees we might want on these kind of main roads that we've got going through. I think I'm quite liking the look of these horse chestnuts, so I'm probably going to stick with that. So one thing I do know is that I want to try and build in a cemetery into this area because we still haven't unlocked, a cemetery, because we still haven't unlocked the crematorium, which I'm desperately working towards, though it is going to be a little bit longer till we get there. So I will go ahead and try and find a good spot for that. Or we could use it as a kind of central part to one of our blocks, like over here. Maybe that could be quite good. Yeah, let me draw in an extra road and see how that looks. Yep, I think I'm a big fan of that, so I'm going to go ahead and plop that right in there. Alright, let's start zoning in a little bit of our wall-to-wall. I'm not sure if I have to zone this as high or low density, so I'm going to experiment with both and see what pops up. Looks like they produce pretty similar buildings, to be honest. So I guess I'll just do a mix of both. I wonder if it changes how many households are in each one. This one's got 7 out of 10. Nope, seems like they both have roughly the same amount of households as well. I would like to get buildings that kind of look similar to each other in similar areas, so I quite like that these ones are both in the same yellow style. I might have another go at seeing what building could appear there. So we are going to be a little bit careful with our zoning around here. Let's also take a look at what our 3x3 residential zoning looks like here. Oh, I like those buildings quite a lot. And they look very uniform. Let's see if we can get a few more of those down here. Very good. We've had a slightly different building come in here, although it's still not really in the same style as that other one. With these balconies, I really like the style of this building. I wish we could just get a very similar one. Yeah, I think these ones are looking okay. They are very vibrant, but I think I'm happy for them to stick around. I think I'd also like to include some parks perhaps in this area, so let's see what we've got. Quite like how those tennis courts might fit in the middle of that block there. Let's keep building our path out as well. Let's see what we can get to spawn in this block as well. And I really like these ones that have more kind of like four-sided architecture. I mean, not totally, there are a few blank walls, but I'm gonna let these ones level up a bit and see what they turn into. We've got a lot of cars struggling with this turnaround point. I am wondering what kind of services we do need to start thinking about getting in here as well. Let's go for a couple of bigger organic and local produce shops. I'm happy for these not to be market ones. And that has spawned in as 3 different buildings, which is not really exactly what I wanted, including 2 of the same ones. So let's see if we can have another go at that. I think I'm pretty happy with this building as is. What is it? The Edison shop. Yeah, I think that's fine. It does have a couple of parking spots outside, which I don't love. It's not the prettiest one we could have had. These ones just keep spawning in weirdly. I just want one big 4x4 unit there. Or maybe, yeah, 2 smaller shops would also be fine. Yeah, I'm very happy with this grocery store. That's exactly what I would have wanted. But yeah, I think these 2 with the parking spaces aren't quite right for the pedestrian area. So let's see if we can get something a bit better in there. I think this one looks pretty good. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that as well. Sorry, I'm seeing a lot of people try and get to this area. We do not have any transport into it at the moment. One thing I would like to do is, I think, build a pedestrian bridge over from this area into this area. So why don't we have a go at doing that? I'm not loving this little bend at this end, and also it doesn't look like that connection has been made quite properly enough, so I think I'm going to have another go at that path. So I can do it very straight across like that, and perhaps that does make the most sense. I'll go ahead and add the rocks back in over here that we have accidentally got rid of. There we go, I think that's looking pretty much okay. And I also want to make sure we're making connections from this pedestrian road over to the quay wall. Okay, pretty happy with how this is shaping up at the moment. It does look like the zoning in this area has broken a bit. I wonder if I can fix that with a few carefully placed paths. Okay, I think I've managed to fix that up fairly well. So let's go ahead and get a bit more organic and local produce zoned in here. I'm happy with this one. It does have 3 parking spaces out the front, but I think I can overlook that. This one, however, definitely has way too many parking spaces. Although I do really enjoy how the building looks, but no, let's see if we can get something better in there. This is just kind of a big empty market area, but maybe we're okay with that, sort of similar to what's over the other side of the road. And already this pedestrian bridge has so much use, which is making me very happy. Love to see people using pedestrian bridges. Let's see if we can get a few more interesting wall-to-wall buildings in here. And I think I quite like the idea of having a few beach volleyball courts along this side as well. Yeah, perhaps just 2 like that. Again, it has parking spaces, which I hate, but there's nothing I could do about that. Oh, and we've just hit small city. I wasn't even paying attention to that. That's great. That means we can implement a high-rise ban, which I've been wanting to do for a very long time. We've also unlocked monorail, which is quite fun. I think I'm pretty keen to try that. And I'm going to come into city policies and make sure I implement a high-rise ban everywhere. So this is going to be in every district, and then just in a few select districts, like in the downtown ones, I'll lift it. Okay, how about we go for a big block of wall-to-wall here and see how that turns out. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I quite like that there's this like organic path through these two buildings, so I think I'll make those two historical. And I'll see how, maybe I'll make this one historical as well, and then see if we can get another of those buildings in here. And we are lucky, we've now got another organic little path through these two. Oh, and we've got a fire in the neighbouring building. I think the cargo points help with that, or maybe we need to get some police and some fire rescue points in here. Looks like our helicopter has been able to come over. And yeah, a fire truck from a different firehouse. So let's see if we can put in some of those services over here. Let's place that down to see how we might like to orientate it. I think that's going to want to go on this side of the road like that. I'm not sure what we want over the other side of it, perhaps just like a little shop or something. Not sure about it being a cafe, although it does kind of fit in well maybe with that garbage truck stuff. No, I think let's try for a different one. And I'm also going to leave just a little bit of space between this cargo and that building, the fire station, so that I can draw a path in between just to give them a little bit of breathing room. This is another market building, which we would have loved over the other side. Do we like this little corner market? I was imagining definitely more of a real shop there. Yeah, I think we probably do want more of a real shop. We definitely, I don't think, want 2 car parks. That seems a bit odd, although I guess they're kind of near the entrance point. I don't know if any cars will actually park in there though. Let's leave it how it is for the moment. Okay, and we said we probably needed to add in some police to this building as well. I'm assuming that these are fire trucks will be able to get out if they need to. I think I would like to try and get the parked cars off this road if possible, so I might just go ahead and upgrade it to something else. And I'm wondering if we can build in a bit of a transport station that could join into a tram or metro network that I'm planning to sort of come down here. Perhaps somewhere over this side. It might mean we need to start our green park slightly further up, but I think a station somewhere along here could be pretty good. I quite like the idea of an elevated metro, and we've got a couple of different options for it, so perhaps I'll go ahead and build this in here just as planning. And that means this road will probably be a bit more of a main road. Again, I'm assuming it's fine that it's on the pedestrian road. I will build a non-pedestrian road to cross over to the other side of the highway. There we go, that seems to be working a little bit better. How's that bridge? I think that's fine. Flows over the highway quite nicely. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any cars parking in these parking spaces, so I am going to go ahead and destroy that and try and get a different shop instead. So let's have a little go at creating our waterfront park over here. I'm going to clear out the trees to begin with. And I might actually relocate these volleyball courts to be in the park. And then we can build out around them with some paths. So let's go ahead and plant some trees around this path as well to keep it looking like a park. I realise I did forget to put police in, so perhaps I should go ahead and quickly do that while I'm thinking about it. Can have that just over here near our other service building. Let's keep working on this green path or green park that we've got coming along the riverside. And I'm quite keen on introducing a few park assets into this area, I think, so perhaps this is where we can go ahead and use our newly unlocked yoga garden. And I wonder if we could also use a sauna in here as well, just to really add to the sort of health hub vibes of this area. I think the statue plaza could be quite good in here somewhere. Perhaps we even move our police station. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice in that spot, especially continuing on from the market. And I think let's get in a couple more shops perhaps as well down this way. And also around here. See what zone's in. We've got another little market type shop, which I think I'm kind of fine with in that spot. And I'm basically just trying to avoid any of the ones that have parking spots, so I think I'm fine with this little wholesome foods shop. Let's see if we can get some different ones in without parking. And this is a kind of market building as well, which I guess I'm happy to keep in there. This little cafe is exactly the sort of thing that I want. And I think I'm also happy with this big eco center as well. So I just took a short break from recording and I can't remember what I was working on before I took a break. So let's have a look around and maybe start on another task. I am feeling like a lot of these buildings are looking a little bit samey. I would like to get another building perhaps in here to break up the block a bit, I suppose. We have got a community pool here. I wonder if that could be fun to place. Yeah, maybe near this plaza in this little high street. That could fill in that area quite neatly. That looks pretty good. Might just move it slightly more into the middle. Although I don't think I can actually because it's snapping to the grid, so yeah, that's fine. I feel like that would be appreciated by the users of this little health hub. And I would like to continue working on this kind of park area that we're looking at along the front as well. There we go, I think that looks okay. Looks like quite a nice manicured bit of garden. Maybe we go for a bit of the same down here as well. And then perhaps we can use some props to decorate up this area a bit and maybe a couple more interesting trees as well. There we go, that's quite a nice little picnic area. Perhaps we can fill in this block with a bit of just not wall to wall, but regular vanilla sort of mid-rise buildings, and that might help the area not look just a little less samey, I suppose. Probably need to draw in a bit more of our road network as well. Let's have a go with that for now and see what comes in. I would like to keep drawing some paths and fences around as we go as well. That one is looking a little bit tall. These ones are looking pretty perfect, however. They do have a little bit of parking, but I think I can get over that for a nice looking building. Yeah, I think I will have to let this one go though. That one is just a bit too big for what I want right here. Yeah, this guy is good. Bit shorter eyes. Yeah, that's pretty perfect. That is a good size for what we want. And they're, yeah, just a little bit more spaced out than the wall-to-wall buildings, which I think is nice. Probably want another road connection at some point down this block. Let's go in for a few more houses, or a few more wall-to-wall houses over here. Yeah, I don't love this one on the left with the big blank wall, but I think I quite like these other two, maybe? Definitely prefer this one with the more four-sided architecture, although this has got some stuff out of the back, which is good. We do have this media broadcasting building, which is quite a good one in terms of being kind of mid-rise. Perhaps that could be over here, somewhere near the station. Might place it down, see how it looks, and then we can decide if we like it or not. Yeah, it's definitely pretty chunky, but I think that might work well. I think we probably want to move it one over. And maybe run an extra little path down here instead. So what do we want in this block? Perhaps a bit more of the park? I do like the skate park. Perhaps we could try putting that down in there. Adding in a few more of our paths around it. And then we can still have perhaps a few more little shops down here. And these ones do seem to have all appeared with parking spaces, which isn't my favourite. Let's see if they level up a bit, they might change. And I really enjoy these little 2x2 vanilla ones as well. Perhaps with a little path through the middle as well. And I also want to make sure we're protecting these houses from the highway adequately. So I can go ahead and build in a bit of a fence after I remember to just complete those last two bits of zoning. Perhaps we can go for an extra bit of just vanilla low density housing along here. I really like these little ones. I feel like they look good together. Yep, I think they make quite a good transition between the two areas, so let's lock those in. Perhaps in here we can have a bit of a playground, considering there's a childcare place just behind it. Let's go for the small playground, and we can redraw in those paths as well. Perhaps we can get a little fence in to protect the kids as well. And I think we do want to decorate up the back of this elderly care place as well. And I think it could be nice to have another couple of healthcare buildings in here as well. We have already got quite a few, but they are good for levelling places up. And this is quite a nice corner asset. Yeah, I quite like how that fits in. Perhaps with a bit more wall to wall down here. And maybe a few more shops along the edge. So we've got not quite enough educated workers in this building. I don't know if that's going to become a problem across any of the other buildings. It might be worth us putting a public library in here. Yeah, I think that looks good, situated just at the end of that road. Like a proper civic building. Now this one has grown in a bit tall. Do we mind having one tall building? I think we do over this side of town. I think if there were going to be a tall one, it would need to be over the other side of town. Well, it looks like we've unlocked a small garbage service point and small cargo service points. I wonder if we can work those into our build somewhere. Perhaps the garbage one could be quite useful just in here. That fits very nicely against this one. That'll make sure we don't end up in any tight spots with our garbage as well. So I've decided to put in just an express bus route between our compact bus station and the pedestrian area, and there's clearly a lot of demand for it. We have plenty of people waiting for this bus. I don't know if I'll keep this transit line in, but we just needed something to tide us over until we figure out a more permanent transit solution for this area. But this is quite funny for the moment. Quite satisfying to watch it go down though once the buses start arriving. Looks like our first one has just got here. It is quite unrealistic that these articulated buses are managing to perform this U-turn. And I can hear loads of little upgrade noises, so clearly they are enjoying the access to transport. It's perhaps not surprising. So I've been letting this line even out a bit, and I think we could probably reduce the buses to 8 without too many catastrophes. And I think that has evened out pretty well. I think 8 is probably a good number for us to stick with for now on those buses. And with that, I'm pretty happy with how our first pedestrian area and our first mid-rise area is looking. With all this residential and commercial building, we have managed to spike our demand for industrial a little bit, so perhaps we'll tackle that next episode. But I'm really enjoying how this area is looking, and once we get to building out more of the city, we'll be able to develop the transport network in this area a bit more too. But until then, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I shall see you in the next one.